Marcel Carné's Children of Paradise, which I actually prefer to say Les enfants du paradis, it shows how sophisticated I am, is one of those films that seemed to me that we'll never see again, because there was a time when poetry and big budgets seemed to go hand in hand. We don't allow that anymore, because I think the film is a totally poetic statement. Every person speaks beautifully. It's very French and fatalistic in a sense, because life goes on, you know, we live, we love. Whoa. The film, right from the moment of its opening, gets me, because it's about theater, and I've always loved theater. And there it is, boom, right at the start there we have a drawn theatrical curtain, and we have a little preface, and then it rises. And it rises to this sound of this drum, bum, 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 announcing something, and we come on to the famous Boulevard du Crime, Crime Street, and it's one of the great shots that I've ever seen in a movie. It's everything I dreamed about movies. It's a world that doesn't exist. This density of people, an extraordinary world, extraordinary buildings, extraordinary events. It's a circus, it's a fair, it's magic, it's all there. And everybody's asking for your attention. What I like about circuses is the sideshow, behind a curtain. There was always something there being announced, something promised, and you walk behind the curtain and you see something extraordinary. And the film starts with something extraordinary. A beautiful woman naked in a tub, looking at herself in a mirror, and people walking around. This is Garance, Arletty. Now, you never see Arletty in bed, and yet that's what she does for a living. You know, ever since she's been a teenager, she's been working the streets. One thing she's got is her beauty, i.e. her body, is what she's selling. And from her, we then are swept into the crowd, and we meet Baptiste, the mime. We meet Lassinaire, who is, at the beginning, working as a scribe, writing letters for dull, ordinary, illiterate people, and he writes beautifully. He's the first one that attracts our lovely Garance, who's floating through life looking for something to interest her, because she has everything. She has beauty, she has youth. Well, once the lighting took over, she had youth. One of the things about the film that I think it's about smiles. Innocent smiles like Baptiste. His is an innocent child smile. Garance has this rather enigmatic smile. Lassinaire has a smile that's twisted, it's sardonic, it's waiting to do something. Frédéric, who we meet as an aspiring actor, his is a seductive smile. He's charm personified. The light in the film is very important. Right from the beginning, there seems to be a glow about it, a luminescence that I don't see in modern films. It's almost as if the moon is lighting it, even in full sunlight. It's a silvery, soft light that infuses everything. And that's why the film is like a dream. And the dream, when it does slide into its nightmare form, at the end, when Baptiste is losing Garance, is chilling because it's so beautiful. It's a movie that ends without resolutions. Characters haven't all had their final moment and walked away. We're left hanging. And what's interesting about the two halves of the film is they're very differently paced and structured. The first half is much busier, much livelier. The cutting, the way the camera it's more active. The second half is incredibly static and slow, and everything takes its time. And it's a very classic and very, very confidently structured film. Watching it, I'm amazed at how much I've stolen from it. I think I have to admit to my guilt. I think of both Time Bandits with the theater in that, and I think of Baron Munchausen. When I started getting really interested in films was, you know, as the new cinema was taking off, and we were suddenly being realistic. We were breaking away from the hidebound studio system. Now, for me, the studio system in America was very different than the studio system in Europe, because I knew what the studio system images looked like in America, and they were vapid. They were not poetic. There was no depth to them. They were just surface. When I see something like Children of Paradise, which was a studio-bound film, it's taken that what I felt was American banality and raised it to a level of fine art. I think there's an honesty in it, where I found so many American films were not honest. They were pretending to be a world that never existed. But Carné is taking the world that exists and transmuting it into a world that is just beyond our grasp. And it's better, and it's more interesting, and we can see more truth in that. I harken back to these films. Maybe it's because I'm just getting old. Maybe it's because these were the films of my youth, and now I'm clawing them back to try to hope the world can be like that again.